Bonjour and welcome to Sword Beach. This video is going to tell a story of one group of men, number 4 Commando, and their journey from hitting Sword Beach on the 6th of June 1944, fighting their way through Ouistreham and then making their way out to the Bennoville Bridge and then beyond in support of 6th Airborne. On the way I'm going to tell you a story about one man, a man called Robert Croizier. I'm going to tell you that story because, almost unbelievably, his rucksack has ended up in my possession. And the more I've researched, well, the more I feel I've got to tell you. Now, I know that I'm not a commando, but I have all of this 1940s kit. I got a 1944 battle dress, 1940s tin lid, the map of their route that they took once they'd fought through Ouistreham, down through Colville, Saint-Aubin, over the Bennoville Bridge, over the Orne River Bridge, down through into Amfreville and Auger, where they then dug in. And I can't think of a much better homage than to follow that route and carry Robert's rucksack. You see, finding the rucksack led me to discover a couple of names on it. Research into those pulled up more and more about one name, Robert's. And Robert's name led me to find out more and more about the role they played in D-Day. And now I know that 177 French Marines led the way off 2 landing craft at the point of number 4 Commando entering Ouistreham, and at this point here, marked by a memorial to Kiefer's commandos. 40 or 50 of those commandos of the 177 landed on the beach hadn't made it this far, and yet this was just the beginning. Proving a little tricky following the perfect route. As the towns have grown, the troops landed on the far edge of Sword, the far edge of the British invasion. Number 4 Commando's job was to land about 30 minutes behind the 8th Infantry Brigade. It was the 2nd Battalion East Yorks had landed in front to secure the beach. Number 4 Commando's job then to move into Ouistreham, to neutralise a stronghold in the basement of a casino, and to clear a coastal battery. At the danger of repeating what I later narrate for you, Lieutenant Colonel Dawson, who was officer commanding of number 4 Commando, decided that the 2 French troops seconded over from number 10 Inter-Allied Commando would take the lead, would assault the 1st German position, and would neutralise that casino stronghold. That they did. I'll detail it as I narrate over photos for you and make sure that I'm as accurate and as full in my description as I can be. Once they'd done that, they set out on this route, heading out from Ouistreham to Colville, Saint-Aubin, but not the route they intended. The original route had been planned to follow the Caen Canal. I'm not totally clear why they didn't follow that. I suspect because of the presence of German troops, or perhaps artillery bombardment, who knows. But this is the route they followed. Their rucksacks. This very rucksack. Loaded up with 35 kilos of limited rations and lots of ammunition. Ammunition for the 2-inch mortars, ammunition for the Piats, for the K guns, for the Bren guns. They were told that they'd be in France for a maximum of 4 days. There seems to be no definitive date at which they left. Reports placed them as being here between 72 and 82 days before they were relieved from their support of the 6th Airborne. Now that's an interesting bit of the story as well, but I'll save that for later on. At 10:32 I left Ouistreham. These brave lads landed at about 6:30 in the morning. I followed down Rue de la Mer. It's taken me 45 minutes. We're now in Colville-sur-Orne, renamed shortly after the war to Colville-Montgomery. I am absolutely drenched in sweat. Which leads me to the question, why did I do it? Why bother? It's not just to feel the suffering. It's not just about the weight of the pack. It's not all about a pilgrimage to a young man I didn't know, have no connection to. It's an immersion, the realization that the scale of these things perhaps boils down to a collection of individual extraordinary actions all knitted together to achieve the unimaginable. Like they could simply dare not have hoped to have achieved what they did. Let's find a quieter track. They break off very shortly and split out the village down across the fields, and that's what I'm going to do too. I'll catch you there where it's a little quieter. I'm probably not done with my why am I doing this rant. I just walked down through this Colville town centre. 3 boys stopped me, asked me in French if I was militaire. Well, once a very long time ago. I stopped to explain that this rucksack was last here on D-Day. Showed them a photo of Robert, and that's 3 more people that know his name, that know his story. Forgive me if I'm repeating what I later say again, but Robert joined the French Navy at 19. Went through training and was posted to his first ship, the Strasbourg. Was posted to a second ship. And the Germans invaded. Change of power with the Vichy French. He fled first to New York and then to London to join the Free French forces. When he arrived, they were recruiting commandos. I guess he thought that was a good idea, so off he went to Achnacarry in Scotland to undergo his commando training. So rigorous that 50% didn't pass the course. he came across it 19 or 20 years old, underwent the hardest military training I can imagine, far more than I ever did. While I've got empathy, understanding of loaded marches, field exercises, conditions, pressures, sleep deprivations, discomfort, I've no idea how much these young men went through, how deep they dug, how much they achieved. And that seems most significant, because after a few daring commando raids, the award of the Croix de Guerre, Robert found himself on a landing craft heading back to his homeland on the 6th of June. And on the 10th of June, in the area where I'll finish this walk, he was sadly killed with his compadre, his colleague, his brother in arms, as the trench they were in was hit by shrapnel during a German assault, and he was killed. He was killed at 22 years old. Now, it's absolutely mind-blowing to me that A, this Bergen has travelled through time and space to arrive in my hands. That B, this story is unfolding. But that he achieved more, did more, in 3 short years than I've done in my whole life. Did 5.5 years in the reserves. Did almost 10 years in a mountain rescue team. I cannot imagine the hardship, the commitment, the discomfort, the fear. I cannot imagine, and it just isn't okay to let that slip away. So here I am, sweating his footsteps. Here I am somehow reuniting this bag. Somehow, I hope, documenting this story. And we will follow through and close the loop and find his grave. Within the rows and rows and rows of British dead, we have a small plot of French. Of Free French soldiers. A Belgian. And Fusiliers. Fusilier Moran making up the 2 French troops of number 4 Commando. And here we have Robert Croizier.